Hey there, welcome to Enrich Learn. Today we are diving into a topic that affects all of us, inflation. One of the oldest things about economic life is that the prices for things keep rising. Ever wondered how your grandparents bought a house with what would barely be enough to buy a used car today? Yes, the prices for things are constantly going up, and the main reason is inflation. Inflation is an economic term that describes the general increase in prices of goods and services over time. Imagine you are a coffee lover in 1980. A cup of coffee cost you around 50 cents at your favorite local cafe. You did sip on your coffee and enjoy it without breaking the bank. Fast forward to 2020 and the same cafe charges you $3 for the same cup of coffee. That's a noticeable price increase due to inflation. It means you need more money today to enjoy the same coffee you loved in the past. So, what is inflation? Inflation is the continuous increase in the general price level of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. When you hear people say prices are going up, they are talking about inflation. Now let's go back to the basics. Traditional economics dictates that there are two main causes of inflation: demand pull inflation and cost push inflation. Cost push inflation happens when business expenses increase and these extra costs are passed to on their customers. On the other hand, demand pull inflation occurs when the demand for goods and services outpaces supply. Let's take a step back in time and examine how inflation has shaped history. In post-World War I Germany, hyperinflation led to people using wheelbarrows of cash to buy basic goods. After World War I, Germany was in a state of economic and political turmoil. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1990, placed significant financial burdens on the country. Germany was required to pay reparations to the Allies, and this, coupled with the devastation caused by the war, led to a severe economic crisis. In an attempt to meet these reparations payments and finance government expenditures, the German government began printing an excessive amount of money. This reckless money creation, combined with the scarcity of goods due to the war and the loss of industrial capacity, led to hyperinflation. The value of the German mark plummeted rapidly. The consequences were staggering. People needed wheelbarrows full of cash to buy even the most basic necessities like bread. Prices were rising so quickly that by the time you received your paycheck, it had already lost its value. Banknotes became virtually worthless, and many people resorted to bartering for goods and services. This hyperinflation had a devastating impact on the German economy and society. Savings were wiped out, and the middle class was pushed into poverty. The social fabric of the nation was torn, and the political unrest intensified. It was in this environment that radical political movements gained traction, ultimately contributing to the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. A similar situation occurred in Zimbabwe in the late 2000s, with hyperinflation causing the value of currency to plummet. Starting in 2007, inflation grew rapidly, really rapidly. By September 2008, the International Monetary Fund estimated the annual inflation rate at 489 billion%. In practical terms, the Zimbabwe dollars lost 99.9% of its value between 2007 and 2008. It's hard to even imagine what that looks like. Prices nearly doubled every 24 hours, and businesses revised prices several times a day. In June 2008, the Economic Times reported that a loaf of bread now cost what 12 new cars did a decade ago. The government issued currency in huge denominations to keep up with rising prices. The $1 million bill, the $1 billion bill, and finally in 2009, the $100 trillion bill, the largest denomination of currency ever issued. The good news was that everyone was a billionaire, but the bad news was that those dollars were virtually worthless. So, why is inflation such a problem? The real problem is that not everything inflates at the same rate. If everything went up by 100% a year, and so did everyone's income, and it was all totally steady and predictable, it would be weird, but wouldn't actually do any harm. The harm comes from the fact that not everything changes at the same rate. Now, how can you protect yourself from the negative effects of inflation? Here are some strategies. First, invest. Consider investments like stocks, real estate, or commodities that historically perform well during inflation. Second, diversify. Spread your investments to reduce risk. Third, adjust your budget. Plan for raising expenses. Fourth, consider TIPS, TIPS, Treasury Inflation Protected Securities, that is, government bonds designed to protect against inflation. In summary, inflation is a continuous rise in the general price level of goods and services, and it can have significant effects on your finances and the economy. By understanding its causes, effects, and taking proactive steps, you can better navigate the world of inflation and safeguard your financial future. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of our future topics. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.